If Dr. Ghosh will introduce his student.
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone, my name is Arup Ghosh. I'm from MCIS department, and here's my student Dunn, and he's taking my CS 230 class with me, and he's very much interested in research, and this is his first project, and this project is about AI, machine learning, and disabled and elderly individuals. So now let's hear from Corey.
How are you guys? Good afternoon. Hope everyone's having a good afternoon so far. And the name of this research is Building Better Pathways to Internet Access for Disabled and Elderly Individuals. I'd like to go over a quick overview of what this research goal is, which is to understand how AI and machine learning techniques can develop solutions to help bridge the gap for individuals who are having trouble accessing the internet. And also, like we stated before, this research has just started and it's an ongoing work. So I know a lot of you guys may be asking, well, what exactly is machine learning? I know it is a popular buzzword alongside with AI over these past few years, but it's not a new technique. It's actually something that we have been experiencing and having around for quite a while now. For examples, things like self-driving cars and also social media and things like Netflix even when they're suggesting movies for us. Before a more clear definition, machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence that focus on building systems that learn from and make decisions or predictions based on data. Unlike traditional programming where we put in place code and for logic and rules in place for the machines to simply follow, we will have to come in and update it if we want those computers to make a different output. But with machine learning, the computer is able to learn and adapt to the new data and without being programmed for every possible scenario, which is a big hand for us with projects like this. So I'd just like to go over a couple of our research questions that we're currently studying and trying to prove. So what are some of the hardest challenges disabled and elderly individuals face when it comes to accessing the internet? And how can artificial intelligence and machine learning techniques help these individuals to overcome those challenges? Well, some of the most common challenges I'm pretty sure you guys probably have heard of are things such as like using a touch screen can be very difficult for some individuals, or even navigating an interface can be very overwhelming. Things like that can play a big part in people's everyday life. And not only does it make it a significant challenge for them, but I also like to think about, well, they're dealing with these challenges and are not able to access the internet as easily as some of us may be able to. I think about the opportunities that they're missing out on, like applications for grants, loans, and even jobs in some cases. This can be a huge problem for people with a life. And I feel like with the technology and the innovations we are making today, we can play a huge part in helping them not have that issue. So I like to go over how do we solve this problem. Well, me and our team has begun by thinking of different machine learning models that we can pretty much build with simple codes, things like Python, and using things such as like OpenCV. Will help us build things like image processing and American Sign Language detection and stream reading. All three of these models will be a significant impact for these communities. It will help them better navigate different interfaces and also help them, reach some of these different tools and access to information that they had no access to beforehand. And I believe these processes are not only valuable on their own, but also when you think about including something such as the human in the loop approach, I believe it really increases the accuracy and how much it can really impact for these communities. I'd like to take a quick moment just to explain exactly what is the human in the loop approach. It refers to, in machine learning, the integration of human judgment into automated processes to aid the system in making correct decisions. I like to give a quick, example. Something such as if we're using, the image processing model, and let's say the individual writes the digit 9, and our system, interprets that as, the letter Q. That could be a huge problem, especially if we're dealing with something that's supposed to be all digits like your social security number. Well, if we have the human in loop approach, we can have a human in place who will recognize this error and be able to come in, fix it, which will not only help this person in the process to get in whatever information they need to get over to the company or organization, but it will also help our machine learning model to better identify these type of errors in the future. So I believe this would be extremely effective, not only for the parties involved, which is the company, organization, and the user who needs it, but it also provides, opportunity and jobs for humans, or anyone who thinking, these type of processes can be a negative impact on, job security and things of that nature. And with that being said, I like to pretty much wrap everything up with, I believe all these things pretty much put together would have a huge impact on communities that over the years have kind of been misrepresented and glanced over within our innovations into this new world. But I believe if we can take a small step with some of these processes, it will help them so much down the line. Do you guys have any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Mhm.
you mentioned that machine learning and AI are fields which have some relationship, right?
Yes.
So, do you happen to know a bit more about machine learning? Like how was the evolution of machine learning? Was it more like a linear evolution, or if you can imagine like a curve, like a function, how
Yeah.
do we describe the evolution of the field of machine learning?
Well, I haven't gotten too deep into the evolution, but from the research that I have been conducting, I understand that machine learning is basically from the things that I've been trying to input is we're going to have to provide the code with data, right? So it's going to have to be very diverse and try to reach as many areas that we possibly can. But from what I understand, we're not going to be able to provide every single piece of data, that is out there. But if I can give a computer the groundwork, let's say, with American Sign Language, which would be English. But if I provided that and constantly work on a model to understand other sign language and different areas of communication with different languages, you can possibly possibly help that like in the future. So back to your question, I believe it would be more of a curve. It's not really a straight line because the model itself would constantly be able to grow and keep learning as time goes on.
No. The question was
Mhm.
if we think overall of
Yeah.
the field of
Mhm.
machine learning, more specifically, for example, we're using machine learning
Mhm.
neural networks, simulated artificial neural networks.
Mhm.
So it would be interesting for you to understand actually how the research in the field allowed us eventually, when we say the evolution, it's not about the way that we build a particular model, but I was asking about the entire field, like
Yes, ma'am.
how it has evolved, how did it start,
Yeah.
who are maybe some prominent scientists who actually put their touch
Yeah.
on the field, that would be because you related, ML, machine learning, to AI, right, to artificial intelligence. So
Yes.
in order for you to understand, what has been going on
Yeah.
in the field, which started a while ago, it may
True.
just give you some perspective, how
Yeah.
actually one technique or another strategy has been proven to be better, especially to solve maybe one category of problems versus another category, like you said, and building the correct model, right? And then we have also another question, right, as computer science students, how is machine learning as a technique to, that we apply to problem solving compared with like traditional programming?
So, referring back to one of my slides, the difference would be with machine learning, we would be able to have the computers to basically learn and adapt as new information is provided into the system instead of traditional programming where we would put the set code in place unless we basically come back in and program that computer to react differently to a set of things that is offered, it would only give us that one set output. Unlike, with a machine learning model where it would, constantly improve and predict things based on the information that is being provided.
So machine learning pretty much learns from experience, right?
Exactly,
So you don't
exactly.
actually provide the detailed description of the algorithm like we have to do with imperative programming, but we actually learn, we set the model, and if the model was set correctly, then it should learn from experience.
Exactly.
That's the main difference, right? It actually will develop itself some strategy to learn, right? That's the learning component that we have in machine learning, right?
Exactly.
So if let's say that I am a CS student and someone will pose to me a new problem, which approach should they prefer? Like an AI more inclined approach or a traditional approach?
It will first depending on the thing that they're needing to solve. So for most problems, depending on whatever action that you need, traditional programming may meet that standard. Especially if it's something more simple that you just need a computer. Every time this certain thing happen, you need this output. I feel like traditional programming covers that, and for most CS students, coming up, we're using traditional programming to code most things, especially with our projects as we're studying and things of that nature. So I would recommend that, but again, it would just depend on the outcome that they need, to really get a good answer for that.
That's why we need to study a bit the evolution and the history of ML, because we have giants who already have encountered very likely similar problems. So instead of wasting our time deciding which approach works better, we can use the work of the giants in the field, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much for that, and thank you guys
Thank you, our
again.
speaker again.